and welcome to another Today's Decay. August 2nd edition. Full of all sorts of exciting nonsense. On this day in 1872, Mercy Brown was born. I think we talked about Mercy Brown the other day because I went on a New England haunted road trip. Most Octobers for the last 16 years, something like that. So each time we go on these road trips, it's like stop-offs along the way. This is in the month of October, although this year probably canceled. Usually what we do is we stop off at roadside Americana type attractions. Generally nothing really big. I've only been to Salem once or twice for this because it always just felt like way too many people. It's like the Times Square of Massachusetts or something like that. But one of our stop-offs, which has been on my list of things to do since like day one, and we only finally did it the most recent one, was going to visit the grave of Mercy Brown. Her story was she got sick, and it was believed that she was a vampire. She died. I forget if it was like pneumonia or like consumption. Everybody died of consumption, right? But back then, this is like in the 1880s, maybe early 1890s. But doctors, and this is already like a time of science. I mean, all right, sure, it's still the 1800s, but like this was already the enlightened era where like we realized we could like experience what or like note what people's symptoms are and draw logical conclusions into like what's ailing them and trying to figure out what to fix, how to fix them. Except, not in this case. They decided she was a vampire and she died, and then her brother was getting sick. So they determined that like she had like left her grave and like tried to like go after him. And so to cure him, they exhumed her body and took out her heart and burned it and made the still alive brother drink the burnt remains of her heart. This whole thing made the news. It was like, New England's vampire, or Rhode Island's vampire, and it was one of the main inspirations that Bram Stoker took when deciding to write the novel Dracula. So this predates it. I mean, yeah. Anyway, so we visited her grave, and it was like a really dark and stormy day, and it was terrific. Myrna Loy, America's Sweetheart, born on this day, 1905. The term was like, Myrna Loy, so nice to come home to. She was, in stuff like The Thin Man, and, what else? Was she in the best years of her lives? She was, wasn't she? Great too, but years later, but great too. But some of the really exciting Myrna Loy stuff is before she was America's Sweetheart, where she played these like really like dangerous, exciting vamps, or whatever I guess the version of a vamp would be afterwards, because vamps are more teens. So like films like Mask of Fu Manchu and 13 Women. She's like a whole different character. I love it. The lady can act is what I'm trying to say. Hua Chang was born on this day in 1917. Chinese American, who worked on some of the early animations for Disney and like Fantasia. Did a whole bunch of stop motion animation with George Pal. Did a bunch of stop motion animation on his own, dealing with like dinosaurs and stuff, and worked with props and things by the mid-century. So like he's the person who came up with like Star Trek's tricorder, for instance. On this day in 1935, Betty Brosner was born. What's the line? Always have time for a girl with an hourglass figure? I don't know. Anyway, Betty Brosner, born this day, 1935. And who was born bad on this day in 1942? Why, none other than Jack Starr himself. That's right, Norton Records' darling Jack Starr. I love this. Love this record. Lo-fi rock and roll. Where's he from? Texas, right? Yeah. Texas is the reason that Jack Starr was born petrified. Monster rock and roll nonsense. Just like recording him in his bathroom, like That's like the acoustics you're hearing here. It's just him and a guitar. I love this. And he did all these monster movies, and if you look here, like, he was always like... Yeah. But I don't think these movies exist anymore. I was talking to his daughter, who was really nice, and she was so appreciative and dug that, like, anybody cared about him. And it's not just that anybody cares about him. Everybody should care about him. I mean, it's great. Whack-a-doodle. I love it. Yeah. So purchase this from Norton Records. Because what else are you doing? Oh, probably celebrating Butch Patrick, who was born on this day in 1953. That's a good one too. But Jack Star. It's Jack Star Day here at this apartment. Louis is going to have to endure this the entire day. And for tomorrow, well, who's to say? Tune in tomorrow to find out more. Bye.